Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome back to Medieval Dynasty, where our little farm has become a hamlet. Yes, we started as a camp, grew up to a farm, and now we're a hamlet with about 7 people inside of our village. Things are getting much bigger here, and we're getting along quite nicely. This is taking place after our continued live stream, so if you are kind of catching up from what we did before, you can kind of catch up via these little videos on what we were doing and what's next for us in our little hamlet. So good news, we actually have a full maximum capacity of people here in our city, up to 7 for the time being until we get enough rep points, which is 1,000 that are needed to grow anymore. So if you have any more pointers, tips, tricks, or exploits or whatnot you want to share with everybody down below on where to find things or whatnot, be sure to share. And if you have any questions, be sure to ask down below in that comment section, and I or anybody else will be happy to try to help you out. It's good to see you all here, and of course, we're going to continue on. If you guys want to see more of this, by the way, the last video did really well, so thanks for smashing the like button on that one. That's why we're back for more. So if you'd like to see more, make sure you smash that like button, and of course, subscribe if you're new here, and welcome to all the new members. You guys are amazing. Well, we had one farmer there standing inside the barn, and I guess our other field worker is working on these cabbage, so we'll get them reassigned. But this is just kind of more of a tour of what we've done in our previous live streams, and also little tips that we've learned in our previous live streams too. If you take a look in the upper right corner of the screen, you see Unaga Story 2 says to wait for further events. Well, one of the events is actually to not pay your taxes on time, and then you actually get reputation points for that. Imagine that in this game. A little misleading where it's like you're told to pay your taxes, so you always want to have money for it, otherwise you go into debt and have to pay interest. Well, apparently that's one of these quests here. So if you ever get up to Unaga Story 2, I guess the event is to wait till spring and then not pay your taxes until then. So there's a little bit of something to that. There's also hidden villages that are on the map too. If you take a look at the map, you can see between this town here, Rolnica, and also the town here of what looks to be Branica, there's this little village here, little camp, a little hunting thing here. It looks like they have bows, and it actually seems to be a hunting outpost, which is kind of similar to the one over here with the small hunters camp. It's one person there versus several people over here, and there's, of course, always quests around the map, too, which you want to complete for all of your reputation points. But you can get reputation, too, by upgrading your workers' homes and making sure everything's repaired, too. So, for example, you can upgrade your workers' homes to have wood outlinings to it, or I guess wooden walls, and also wooden roofs. So these buildings here upgraded will help to increase their moodiness, their mood to be more happy in the camp, and that should increase your reputation too, according to what everybody was saying to me. In addition to that, you can also give your workers better clothes. However, I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I think you might need to put them in the resource barn, and then they'll be able to use them as well. So we're learning quite a bit more in this game as well as time goes on. I've also learned that flax, you're going to need about a 16 by 16 field just to make shirts in this game so far. It looks like it's going to take, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's about 160 flax in order to make one of those, and I think each field gives you 1 flax per field, or maybe it's 10, but when you break it down into linen, then it becomes like it takes 10 to 1. So I think you'll need 16 to make a shirt. I could be wrong, but regardless, if you're making flax, you're going to need a big O field, is what I'm really trying to say. And if you have the official count down below, because I haven't done it yet, so I'm not exactly sure, please do let me know. The harvest is going really well. Things will be completed here shortly. It doesn't look like she's working, but eventually those will disappear from the field, as we've already made food. Tons of food was made last time, and we can actually take quests from our people here inside of our town, so I want to do that real quick too. Let's find out who needs some help. Looks like Bertha here, working at the blacksmith, needs some help, so we'll take a quest from her in a second. And I just wanted to mention too, by the way, that again, food sells for quite a bit, but those hammers, like what she's holding, sells for an incredible amount. So if you can go and get some iron from the mines, bring it back, and keep this thing fully stocked throughout the winter and the summer, boom, 2 trips a year should do you for an entire year's worth of hammers. And if you get about 30, that should give you about 2,000 plus gold to get some more stuff going on. What can I help you with, young lady? Let's see here. Let's see, do you want some quick money? Sure. There's a cave nearby. I need someone to go there and get me some iron ore. Ah, you got it. Okay, no problem. Alright. Let's see if she actually marks it on the map. And let's see if there's a closer iron mine. Let's see. Nope. That's all the way in Hornica. Wait, they want me to go to Hornica? That's interesting. That town is very good, by the way, for getting a pickaxe. I may have mentioned it before. Speaking of iron, you can get a pickaxe for about 400 at Hornica. Then you can go ahead and go to the mine and start mining that out, which is right about here. Just in this area. Where is it exactly? Just north of this lake. So the small lake here, there's a little white square. That's the entrance to the mine. And there's plenty of iron ore to be had there. That's a lot of good stuff. Now, one thing this game is really missing is horses, and that is coming soon, according to the developer. And also alcohol to be made and sold at taverns. That's also something coming soon, as well as bandits, too. That's going to be something that will come along in the future. So let's go ahead and go up to the old ore mine. I haven't shown you that before in these episodes, but I'd like to take a little walk up there and show you a way to get up there. Let's see if we put our... let's see. I think we have pickaxes actually waiting there for us, so we should be able to take a walk up there. And we'll have to grab some food before we go. Looks like I have... Oh, actually, I have some meat on me, which I was making at the tavern. Now, the tavern is a really good way to continue to make food for your people through the year. So if you put somebody on farming, somebody on hunting, and somebody in the tavern, you actually have a full way to make food for your settlement. So in other words, if somebody's making carrots and another person's out hunting, meat plus carrots equals stew, and then that will automatically go into the food bin there. Alright, so up here we actually have a little pickaxe, quite a few pickaxes that I dumped in the mine. One good tactic, according to everyone else, in order to avoid having to carry it back and forth, is to just leave a if you leave a pickaxe in the mine, boom, you're good to go. Alright. So speaking of the linen from earlier too, I just wanted to wrap that thought up by saying that, because I noticed my shirt here, if you go to make better clothing, that also helps your affection, I believe, to talk to the ladies, and also reputation, I believe, is also automatically increased. So that makes talking with people a little easier. Man, the deer are gorgeous in this game. One of the things about this game is that it is an alpha, and it does a very good job of making it a full game, even though it's an alpha. The animals, though, are a little weird. You know, like, for example, you can get really close to a deer. But some of the requests that this game makes in order to, like, for example, one quest is to hunt 3 wolves, 2 bison, 10 deer, and I think a few boar and some other things. It's quite a lot of work. So the fact that the AI is a little dumb makes it at least a little easier for you to hunt. And keep in mind, each one of these days is like a third of a season. So it's almost like a month within the day. If you think about it, you get 12 days a year. And so each one of them kind of represents a third of a month. So the animals being kind of dumb simulates at least a more vigorous hunt that took some time to complete. Alright, if you're wondering how to get to the mine, this is a good way to go there. One thing that I like to do too, and what I'd like to see in this game, is the ability to mark the map of a location I want to go to. They don't have that here yet. But one thing you could do is point yourself in the direction of the mine, and just start running in that direction so you don't get lost on the pathway. It's actually much easier to go off-road. So let's do that now, just so we can get there faster and sooner than later. The seasons in this game are gorgeous. I just can't get enough. Now, I'm hoping later today in my live streams, which I'll be doing a little bit later today, so make sure you check those out, to finally get married, which will then open up another slot in our town in order for another person to join us. But most of this game is about getting people, and sometimes you have to go back 2 or 3 days to talk to them, but that can be a little bit much if you're trying to complete quests, buy items, get work done, cut down logs, build buildings. It's kind of hard to do everything at once. So that's why a horse would be excellent in this game to make up for time when it comes time to go between villages and get things done. Alright, now keep in mind that at the mine there's some bears, and it's best just to avoid them. You could try to bring a spear and attack them every time that you see them, and that would take a little bit of time. I think it takes about 2 headshots with the spear and a few bolts with the crossbow or bow and arrow to get rid of them. Would you look at that? Our friend is directly in front of the mine. So if this ever happens to you, there's a good tactic to get rid of these bears. Fun fact, at the moment in this current game, here's a fun tip too. The bears actually cannot go inside the cave. So if you lure the bear away from the cave, and sometimes there's 2, you see one of them right up there, you see him? He's waving his head back and forth, and the other one here. So here's how you get inside the cave if the bear is blocking. It doesn't have to be too dramatic. So he'll chase you, and all you have to do is just kind of walk around, and there we go. And that's it. He can't come inside. Wave at the people there. You want to wave at the folks? Hello? No? You don't want to wave? Yeah, say hi. There you go. Yeah, good boy. Excellent. So they can't go into the cave. That's kind of a cheese, but there you go. All right, we'll pick up this pickaxe then, and we should be good to go. Now, mining these rocks is pretty simple. Each one of these little kind of lighter colored rocks is what you're looking for, and they do replenish every time that you leave the mine. Not every time, but I think it's every season that they replenish. So if we mine all of these rocks, we'll get rock, salt, and we'll also get sometimes limestone, very rarely limestone, but iron. And you can get limestone too by going to a different mine or mining rocks along the road. So it's pretty simple. All you got to do is just boom, 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 and you can see the other colored rocks coming out. So we have rocks and we have salt too. Salt, of course, used for curing meat and fish, and you can also sell it too for a pretty good profit. We're going to leave this here. Again, it all respawns, so we're just here for the iron. And I believe the pickaxe weighs about, I think it's 1.5, so you should be able to carry one more iron too after you get totally full. So this will just take a minute or two, but it won't take too long to gather up all the iron needed to go back to the camp and complete that one quest. So this is a really good recap. Now, we've done in our previous live streams, not much has changed from the last episode to this one when you were watching the recordings in terms of building builds. We did actually build the sewing station and did experiment with that a little bit. So that was completed, though the building was still there. It didn't take too many logs to make that thing, but it is definitely a valuable building in terms of making, like, for example, straw hats. Don't underestimate the power of crafting stuff that you don't need in this game, because you can always sell it for a little bit of gold, but the real point is to try to get your skills up. So if, for example, you look at the skill tree here under technology, you want to continue to try to unlock things, and by crafting anything like, for example, food, on the right side there, crafting, sewing, or cooking, those are the three things that really make you a lot of progress into unlocking what you really want, which is like the smithy too, and sewing, and the advanced tavern, so that way you can make more stuff, and of course that sells for more money. Alright, let's continue to get these rock deposits here. Now there could be an update in the future for the bear, so I don't know if you should continue to try this. I'm sure the bear will scare me one day, but I'm assuming the programming is let so the bear can't go into the cave and get stuck or glitch through the wall. I've seen the bears actually kind of put their face into the rocks before. Yeah, there you go. Exactly that. Thank you for demonstrating, Barry. He's quite a good assistant. Let's hear it for Barry, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already said hello, at least say hi to Barry. He's quite the nice guy, so long as you don't, get mauled by him. That's fine. All right, we'll get the rest of the iron here. I believe I can bring about 25 to 30 back each time, but there is a really good upgrade, by the way, that I'd highly recommend that I haven't gotten access to yet, but I know would make all the difference. If you go to your back to your skills, and if you go to I believe we'll have to take a look for this one. I think it's survivalist, maybe. Let's see here. Actually, maybe it's this one here. There's a skill. We'll have to find it. Hold on. Ooh, athlete is a very good one too, by the way. I have this fully upgraded. 30% slower stamina consumption during movement. Without horses, that is a must-have. So make sure you get that one. That's why I put all my points into that one, like, right away. I was running around so much, it's almost more than necessary in this game. Let's see if we can find one more. There it is. Under extraction, mule. 5 kilogram bigger weight limit in inventory. Extremely important because you can carry more logs. It helps you to bring things to construction sites more often or with less trips. And, of course, you can carry more iron back from the mine. So I would highly recommend that one. I haven't gotten it yet, but that's what I'm going for next. Some people were saying it's a good idea to go for the points that generate more skill points. That's totally a valid point. But it kind of makes you have to do more of the same work before you unlock other stuff. So it seems to go both ways. It's like either you get the benefit now or you get the benefit faster by unlocking other stuff. And since a lot of the tech tree is not complete or a work in progress, it's a more maybe a good idea to go for stuff that's actually kind of more complete. And but whatever, it's kind of a roll the dice, do what you kind of want to do type thing. All right, we're a little overweight. I'll need to drop a little bit of iron so I can get back in time. The bear there is going to hang out outside. We're at 37, so we could have a stew here. There we go. And, oh, hell, well, why not have another one? Apparently I'm carrying leather. And what else do we have in our inventory to get rid of? We have a simple torch. So we'll drop that for now. And we should be able to outrun the bear now. So Barry, are you out there, bud? Nah, he usually leaves. Okay, we can walk back. And if we see the bear, we can always sprint too. Gorgeous, aren't they? They really look good in this game. They're a little derpy, just a little bit, but I've seen much worse in games that were completed. So on the way back, we can just make basically a beeline towards our camp. So if we kind of aim ourselves on the mini-map towards the camp, we'll end up there in no time. So, perfect. Alright, so one of the things I have yet to do is get married and, you know, kind of start my actual dynasty, the whole purpose of the game. But the fact that we build our camp up so quickly and that we have so many jobs is a great thing. So now, that way, every time we hire somebody, we have some additional jobs for them. Farming can hold up to 8 people, but farming is really only something that takes place kind of a couple of times a year. In other words, once all the crops are planted, you don't really have to have any harvesting going on. However, you can stagger your crop harvesting. So, for example, you can plant carrots in the winter, so you can harvest them in the summer, and then you can plant onions, too, in the spring, so that way everything can be harvested and planted every other season, basically. So when your people are not planting, they're harvesting, and when they're not harvesting, they're planting. And flax can be harvested in the summer, so that also means that you can go and assist them too. And of course, keep in mind that your people, there is a little bit of a farming exploit at the moment. Manure gets very expensive and can be purchased from the guy in the first town that you come upon, where you have to meet your uncle's friend. And we like to call him our uncle in the game, as in Uncle Sam, as in the tax man. But basically, in this game, you should be able to put all the equipment that's needed in the farm and in the barn, and it won't be used. So if you put manure in there, one manure, it'll be an infinite source of manure. If you put in one hoe, then everybody has a hoe. If you put in a bag, if you just put one of everything that they need, it gives you an infinite supply for all the workers required, which is a little bit of an exploit at the moment. But again, this is an unfinished game, and they're still polishing things like that and adding more to it, and it's just awesome. Ooh, you can actually see a little bit of damage to our resource barn now. Let's do some repairs now. We'll finish up that quest, and then we'll come back and do some repairs. Now, what's cool in this game is that you can actually do an upgrade with. You can do daubing. So that'll allow you to upgrade your walls at any time. Otherwise, you have to build the upgraded building. Now, that's a more advanced late-game thing, so it might be a better idea at the start of the game to build the more higher-quality structures. I went for the cheaper ones just so I could get them done ASAP in my live streams to see, you know, people coming into the village. But it might be a good idea to build these out of wood, so that way you have less maintenance to do, and of course also improves their mood, as I mentioned earlier. Let's go ahead and chat with our lady friend here. Oh, actually, she should be on her way back. Where'd she go? What, is she on break? Berta, where'd you go? I guess she's taking a break here at the tavern. Oh, no, she's done for the day. Wow, it actually was darker out than I thought it was. All right, Berta, here is the ore you wanted. Wonderful, here's the coin as promised. 20 coins. Well, that's fine. But it increases the dynasty reputation, and every quest like that is important. Okay. Well, let's go to completing another thing here, which is the repairs. So we'll have to get our iron hammer, which I believe I left one inside the resource barn. Oh, you can see all sorts of damage here. Yeah, we actually repaired this once before. So to repair this, all you need to do is get an iron hammer, and all you need to do is get some sticks. We're out of sticks here at the moment in this barn, but we should be able to get some in here. I believe I left some. Ooh, this building needs repair too. Yeah, over time, all the buildings that you build start to fall apart. And since we built a lot of these buildings around the same time, they're starting to look pretty shabby right now. But don't you worry, we should be able to grab some sticks and repair them. Now, not all the buildings in the game can be modified. Some buildings, you need to build them out of this, the stick walls versus the wooden walls. So you kind of don't have a choice at a certain point. It's a good idea to do it for the houses, but you don't really have a choice for some of the buildings, like, for example, the tavern. Once you get access to the later buildings, though, you can either A, demolish these buildings and then rebuild them with the new materials, or B, upgrade them with something called daubing. And I believe that requires some late-game technology to unlock, as well as some other materials, like, for example, some buildings require clay and stone and things to upgrade too, so keep that in mind. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our hammer out. It's hammer time, baby. let's go ahead and start jumping in here. Now, if we want to do repair, what we need to do is right-click to go to change build mode. And you can see here that we can go into standard building mode. We can repair mode of damaged building modules. We can upgrade a house with walls. We can downgrade a house. And we can also demolish. So what we want to do here is repair. And, of course, anything in red is what we want to swing at with the required materials, which here is just 4 sticks. Looks horrible, but it only takes a few supplies to repair. And there we go. Alright, let's go to the next building that needs repair. I think the roof of this building might need repair too, so we might need some straw. Let's take a look at quality here, or repair. The roof is actually good. It looks horrible, actually. Oh, this is the house, not the resource barn. Ha! I always go for that too, by the way. That building there at the end of the river always looks like that. I love the fact that I built on a river like this too. Everybody in the chat, in our live streams, continues to say that we need to have a toll on that bridge. So that would be something definitely useful for us if we could do it. Alright. So again, yes, if you've subscribed, if you're new here, make sure you say hi down below. It's great to have you in our community, and don't be afraid to come check out our live streams as well. It's a pleasure to have everybody with us and hanging out. We're going to grab some straw now. May as well grab the whole thing. Straw is very light, so you can always just carry a full stack with you. Now, I don't know what happens if you don't repair these buildings. I don't know if they collapse. I don't know if the building loses supply or something, as if it gets damaged or waterlogged or something like that. But it definitely is a good idea to make sure you have that fully repaired. And I think it affects your camp quality, too. All right, I wanted to do a little cooking. We do have some food on us. Let's go to the food area here, the food resource building, which you can see a little bit of meat and a little bit of cabbage. Meat and cabbage are definitely one of the best lasting meals. In fact, if you look inside this chest here, you can see that we have stew and pottage and a lot of mushrooms and other things like that. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any way at the moment to use those mushrooms in any sort of cooking recipe, but it would be a good thing to see in the future. If we take a look at our management tab, you can see that our people have 1,920 food in that barn or in the resource area, and that they're consuming 6.1 per hour. Under wood for demands 150, consuming 3 per hour. Now each person, I think in the winter the woods demands double, so you'll need to make sure that you have much more than you need for wood. So it's a good idea in the late fall to stack up on woods, or stock up on woods, and stack those logs high. You're going to need all that extra firewood for sure. Alright, so it looks like our people gather here at the end of the day. Kind of cool. It's like they're having meals. It'll be nice when there's animation and stuff. I'd love to see people being able to... it'd be kind of cool if it animated them getting food from the pot and then bringing a bowl back and actually eating it. For now, at least they gather here. But again, we're talking about an alpha, and this is a very good starting point in this game. Alright, a great opportunity in this game is to make food like this. So meat plus cabbage equals pottage, and that is a really great way to make through the winter. Takes a while to do, but keep in mind when you're doing all this crafting, you're getting points for it that go towards unlocking more skill points that then again will help you to cook faster, or will help you to craft stuff at the blacksmith faster. That's definitely something I've done as well. Cooking at the stove and the blacksmith are two of kind of the boring hands-off stuff. You don't even have to have your hand on your controller or your mouse or anything like that, but you're definitely doing something. As tedious and boring as this is, it gives the most reward for all of the crafting, and it makes a difference in crafting time. And you doing it yourself is about 10 times faster than the workers, and you don't really have to pay yourself or recruit yourself or feed yourself more than you already do. So it's kind of a big bonus for not so much work. Also, people were saying in the live stream, don't those coals look beautiful? It's actually quite impressive of how the hot coals look. They've done a good job of making everything in this game look detailed. Everything from the thatch on the buildings to the, you know, the stick walls here in the wattle or whatever it's called. It's just beautiful. And I really can't wait to see more in this game, especially in terms of building and more management options. And I really hope in the future that there's more things that we can do to chat with people. To recruit people into your town can be hard sometimes, because it does take a little bit of time to convince them to come and live with you. Oh, looks like we have a little bit more meat, so we'll do the rest of that too. So let's grab our cauldron again and make some more pottage. I've never actually had that in real life, but it sounds good. Cabbage and meat, definitely a hearty meal for the winter that's coming up. And of course, something is better than nothing, and there's a variety of different meals to be made. but it's a good idea to always rotate your crops. And I guess a question for you guys is, for farming, is there a way to tell field fertility? In other words, if we use manure every year, do we still need to rotate crops? It doesn't look like there's an option to rotate crops. I didn't see anything like that. I'll ask my chat later today as well. But you guys probably would know as much as me too. All right, so let's go ahead and drop off some of this stuff. Now again, food needs to be in the resource building to count. So make sure that by the time you recruit people to your camp, if you're just getting started, if you're thinking about getting this game today, make sure that you have additional homes built. Make sure you have the resource barn, which is the large building that we repaired the roof of, and of course this large building here, well, medium-sized building to store your food. You need both of those buildings so materials can come in. You'll need firewood, so make sure you have a logging camp. Make sure you have yourself a hunter's camp, and you should be able to kind of survive. The game doesn't really do the best job in the world of telling you what you need at minimum, but eventually you'll figure it out, and it's not impossible. They don't do a horrible job. It's pretty easy to find out. I actually need to bring that food over to the other one, and we need to take a drink. Now, another thing everybody was wanting to see too is furniture on the outside. I did mention it in our previous episode. I'd really love to be able to see the ability to put down benches and stuff, but one thing I want to do in this game too is decorate my farmstead. So I want to put little fences down by the edge. It's a good idea that we built near the water too, because there's always a water source for us. And yeah, make sure if you build your village, it's probably a good idea to build it next to a stream or a lake with some sort of water source nearby. Don't build in the middle of a desert, because there's no way to build a well at the moment. But that would be something I'd love to see in the future in this game too, because there's quite a few areas where it would be unique to build. In fact, I think I found a gorgeous little area here that I wanted to build into that I think is relatively flat here. And there is a river there, and that's a pretty good spot to be able to at least do that. But we wouldn't be able to fish unless we're near the river, so keep in mind that there's fishing buildings that would unlock, so whether you build near the lake or whether you build near the other side of the river, always a good idea to build near the water, no matter where it is. Alright, boys, well, that should be it for today's episode. I hope to see you all in our live streams. We've been knocking out our quests like crazy. We've been recruiting people like crazy. We've been maintaining our settlement. And, of course, with 8 hours more work, we didn't really add too much to our settlement, but what we did do is complete a lot of the money gathering, and, of course, we're ready to pay our taxes next year, which we are not going to do. So we still have to get through the rest of autumn. We have this wonderful winter ahead of us, and then spring and summer, where we will then pay our taxes and have some good times. Curious to know if the wash tub allows you to wash faster if you're less dirty. No. Okay. So the wash tub. Good tip about the wash tub, too. Everybody always keeps reminding me you need to bathe, you need to bathe, you need to bathe. You don't really need to take a bath until you're going to go into town and talk with people. Obviously, if you're out in the middle of the woods cutting down trees and you're sweaty and smelly, you don't need to run back to the wash bin to then go back and work. It's a waste of time. So make sure you try to optimize all your movements in the game as much as possible, but also enjoy it. It's just a game, and it's one heck of a good one. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for more. Thanks for joining for my recap. And I can't wait to show you much more of this game. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for your positivity and greatness. I will see you soon.